Qi Lin woke up from sleep and realized that reality had merged with anime. At the beginning, Joan of Arc came to her door and invited her to attend the anime school. Beautiful girl classmates are arrogant and have a bad temper. It's not a big problem, please educate them. Miss Yuanyue Erina was convinced. Knight King Saber acknowledged the lord on the spot. Misaki Osaka changed her arrogance and begged for a date. Making friends with girls and forming a group chat, I thought this carefree daily routine was a new life, until one day Joan of Arc revealed the truth. The real world has been destroyed, and only by establishing connections with the comprehensive world and reaching the root can we reverse the path of poverty. The limitations of the past are the strengthened passes, accompanied by Joan of Arc, only willing to witness a miracle. Congratulations to the host, you have activated the template for the Wei Gong Shi Lang. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. World Integration, Rich Women, No Time to Solve. You are listening at novelfull.audio. World integration is underway, with progress of 99%, 99.9%, 99.99%. The green progress bar on the screen is almost perfect, but it still cannot reach 100%. The world of manga and the real world can never merge. Joan of Arc, there is a deviation in the present world. Find and guide him. His existence may bring another ending. The huge supercomputer emitted electronic synthesized sounds, and the simulated rigid tone was mixed with a hint of surprise. Joan of Arc stood up slowly with her head down and looked at the green progress bar on the screen. At the top of the progress bar, it is prominently written. World Restart Plan. The dimly lit room has no point light source except for the computer screen. Just like the entire universe, apart from restarting, there is no feasible rescue plan. Until the appearance of deviation, it was like a faint light hitting Joan of Arc's face. Respected root, I will definitely fulfill my mission. Joan of Arc's beautiful blue eyes sparkled, filled with light. Damn it, it seems like there's a surge. Upon waking up, Qi Lin stared intently at the phone screen, as if seeing some terrifying information. The time displayed on the phone is 8:30 in the morning. If you don't wash up and rush on, you will definitely be late for work. Going to a damn class, what's the situation? Qi Linmeng has swiped several apps, and the headlines are all the news of the integration of the three-dimensional world and the anime world without exception. In the future, the paper people may appear in reality. Clam. After turning on the computer and checking online forums to confirm that it was not a prank, Qi Lin couldn't help but touch his chin and came up with an abstract idea. He just read Joan of Arc's notebook a few days ago, won't he be sued? The painter of this book, does he infringe the portrait right of the anime characters? Before I could think deeply, the doorbell rang. Qi Lin didn't think much and went to open the door in his big home shorts. Hello, I am the supervisor of Xinglang Academy. Next, I will take you to the school. The blonde woman in front of her, dressed in a white T-shirt, wearing a red vest, holding a small trumpet in her hand, dressed like a tour guide, invited Qi Lin. Despite wearing a localized outfit, Qi Lin could still recognize that this blonde woman was Joan of Arc. When Joan of Arc first spoke, she hadn't adjusted her language yet. She started with a bonjour sentence and later changed it to Chinese. This voice, which Qi Lin has heard countless times while playing FGO, is definitely hers. It's broken, the plaintiff came knocking on the door. Seeing that Qi Lin had not responded for a long time, Joan of Arc picked up the trumpet and shouted, Qi Lin, can you understand what I'm saying? Then she put down the speaker and whispered, strange, did I not debug the language pack properly? Sorry, I was a bit stunned just now. Qi Lin quickly adjusted his state and replied, could you please explain what the situation is now? It's a good thing that the bitter master doesn't come to trouble him. Since anime and the third dimension have been integrated, and I don't know my mind, let the anime people solve it. As for Joan of Arc's mention of the Comic Academy, it was a bit ahead of time for Qilin, no less than Harry Potter who received a Hogwarts notification. The feeling of a broken worldview is probably like this. Joan of Arc opened the car door, revealing a special light door made up of twisted light and strange ripples instead of the normal internal structure of the car. I don't have time to explain, let's get in the car first. Qilin saw that except for the appearance of the car, the rest of it was totally irrelevant. He couldn't help roast, is this also a car? I believe it's Hicks Feynman. Joan of Arc smiled lightly and said, it's better to say it's an arbitrary gate. It's a special node that can cross time, space, and phase. The term phase reveals a considerable amount of information. Before Qilin could analyze it in detail, he was led in by Joan of Arc. At the moment of merging into the twisted light and strange ripples, everything in front of us turned into a dazzling sight. By the time we regained our senses, Qilin had already stood in front of the gate of a classic Japanese school. Welcome to the world of anime, the only deviation that exists in this world. This aspect may give you special abilities, and I hope you can use it well. Joan of Arc opened her arms and introduced this brand new world to Qilin. At the moment she entered the world of anime, the clothes on her body changed to white armor. Qilin's newly awakened home uniform has also turned into a dark blue campus uniform. What does deviation refer to? Qilin asked the most concerning question. Joan of Arc pointed to her head and said, after the fusion of the anime world and the present world, it should have affected everyone's brain waves, making them believe that everything is reasonable, but you are an exception. Unconscious, unique individuals beyond budget are deviations. Qilin took a deep breath and did not respond. And Joan of Arc also explained it logically. You have an old saying that you should settle down when you come. When you come here, it's better to experience the anime life. For you, rereading is not a loss. Qilin said secretly, how can I roast after you have said all the points? However, in times like this, there is often a but. However, your presence may have an impact on the development of a new world after integration, so I hope you can do your best. I will supervise the entire process and hope that we can have a pleasant cooperation in the future and refuse to let things go bad. Joan of Arc extended her right hand and smiled, so, classmate Qilin, are you willing to enroll? In the game of Gal Game, this kind of plot will definitely shake hands on the spot, leading to the winner ending of dominating the campus and collecting all the girls in life. In reality, his answer is straight and rational. So what are the benefits? Who's up there? Since I have to handle things, it's difficult for me to do without discussing the compensation. Qilin raised his right hand and rubbed his thumb and index finger, implying that he wanted to pay more. There's no other way, people need to eat. After going to work, it also costs money, and in the future, you have to buy a house, a car, and marry a wife. Joan of Arc seemed to have anticipated this earlier and calmly replied, currently, going to school is your job, and you will be given a suitable salary accordingly. The basic salary is about 10 times your current salary, which is the minimum salary without responsibility. Based on your performance, various rewards will also be given. To summarize, the monthly salary is at a minimum of 50,000 yuan. Sigh, what else is there to say? I stand firm and resolute, not the kind of person who eats soft food. He's just getting his salary for nothing, he's not interested. Talking about money is so common, can precious campus memories be measured by money? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Teaming, Points, and Disdainful Painting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The first batch of students consisted of 12 people, with 9 remaining after 3 SSRs. From their perspective, this rule is relatively fair. If there were no restrictions, the team led by Erina would definitely win the culinary competition. Even if the other students from Far Moon were gathered together, there would be no chance of winning. Here's a point about Joan of Arc's lack of virtue. She just said that she will add restrictions to SSR and emphasize that the restrictions will only be announced after the team is established. Who knows how to limit it? Is it to restrict Erina from cooking with one hand, or only let her use designated ingredients for cooking? To be honest, Qilin felt that even if he cooked with his feet, he might still be more delicious than he cooked himself. The jade feet of a young girl seem to be a bonus in themselves. Not to mention Qilin, most of the other students feel that Erina cannot defeat her. If she is chosen as a teammate, even if the restrictions are increased, the profit outweighs the risk. These careful thoughts were all expected by Joan of Arc, and she could only say that the children underestimated rulers' impartiality. The rules have not been officially announced yet, so don't get excited. The grade assessment will definitely be fair and just, everyone can rest assured. Joan of Arc pressed her hands lightly, gesturing for everyone to be quiet. She cleared her throat and said, the level assessment competition is divided into 3 modes. Regular challenge, cross-disciplinary challenge, and challenger challenge. The regular challenge is very simple, which is a 1.on.1 competition between the talents of each team. The culinary talents compete against the culinary talents, while the sports talents compete against the sports talents. Cross-industry challenges are more interesting. Talents can invite culinary talents to participate in sports competitions, and both sides can step out of their areas of expertise and compete fairly. Once the cross-disciplinary challenge was announced, Erina's face instantly turned white. Needless to say, her value plummeted on the spot. The more deadly Joan of Arc's next sentence. The priority of the cross-row challenge is higher than that of the regular challenge. This means that if Team A chooses the regular challenge and Team B chooses the cross-row challenge, then the competition between Team A and Team B will be based on the cross-row challenge, and Team B will submit the list of opponents for both sides. In this way, a new type of gameplay has emerged, known as position grabbing. Which team is selected first for the cross-disciplinary challenge can determine the list of opponents and develop a strategy for the Tianji horse racing type. For example, Saber is basically a must-lose player in culinary skills. If she were to cross industry and challenge Erina, and both sides compete for talent year by year, would Saber's chances of winning be much greater? For example, Qilin, a talented individual, competes in culinary skills with Saber, a sports expert, and he is a steady winner. The priority of selecting the competition mode is determined by the guessing game, with 2 wins in 3 games. In the case where both sides choose the same mode, the winning side of the guessing game provides the list of opponents. Joan of Arc is still preaching the rules, and as expected, it is indeed a position-grabbing tactic. Then there is the last mode, the challenge of challenging the gym, which has a higher priority than the first 2 modes. This mode literally means that other talented students challenge a certain field of expertise, such as talent or sports talents challenging culinary talents. The difficulty of the challenge is extremely high, and naturally it will match the deserved benefits, which is to double the points. There are a total of 3 rounds of academic assessment. Winning regular challenges and cross-industry challenges earns 1 point. If the challenge is successful, the points will double. If the challenge fails, the challenged party will receive 1 point. The team that receives 2 points will graduate, and if there are SSR students in the team, 3 points are required. In addition, if the SSR team wins once, 1 restriction can be lifted. Joan of Arc's announcement of the points rule undoubtedly buried some soil in this big pit for SSR students, vaguely forcing them to participate in the challenge. What she is currently talking about is a concise version of the rules, which will be sent in electronic form to everyone's phone. 3 SSRs, in terms of cost.effectiveness, Qilin is definitely the highest one. Although it may not have many strengths, the advantage lies in having no weaknesses. The resource permissions carried by oneself may even bring unexpected joy. Many female students are interested in Qilin, but due to the rule that SSR students need 3 points to graduate from their team, they are reluctant to express their feelings. At this moment, Erina and Saber are completely ignored, and their flaws are too obvious, making it easy for them to be pulled to cross-disciplinary challenges. Among the culinary talents, Tian Suahui, who has a gentle personality, and Alice, who is quirky, seem to be more popular. The little transparent members of the talent group have long been sticking to them, wanting to hug their thighs. Qilin glanced at the rules on his phone and had an idea in his mind. Saber, are you willing to team up with me? No one expected that Qilin would choose to team up with Saber, which means their team will have 2 restrictions. The combined effects of restrictions may bring huge trouble. Saber didn't think much and happily joined the team. She really likes the food cooked by Qilin, and if she follows Qilin, her stomach will definitely be full. What a pity. I was originally thinking of forming a team with you, but now it seems that your choice is more reasonable. SSR students are in the same team, and graduation points will not increase. 3 points will be enough to graduate. It seems that you are very confident in facing cross-industry challenges, right? Due to both Rin Osaka and Saber being athletic talents, she was unable to join the team. This time we came to talk, it was purely to show goodwill. If Qilin invited Erina, Rin Osaka might have come in. As long as your thoughts don't slide, there are always more solutions than difficulties, Qilin chuckled. Alice is quite suitable for you. I think you can chat well. Yuanyue Rin looked at Qilin, and her thoughts were really guessed by someone. Since that's the case, if you're in a match then, you'll have to show mercy. Try my best, I won't let you lose too badly. Qilin didn't want to make any false promises. Saber joined the team, and after successfully teaming up with Rin Osaka and Alice, others also completed the match one after another. Erina sat on a stool, immersed in deep anxiety. Since when, she has fallen into a situation where she is about to be picked, and she is still left with nothing to be asked for. But unfortunately, the rules were all aimed at her, and she had nowhere to show her abilities. She was so unlucky that she even choked her teeth when drinking cold water. Watching Mito Yumi find the team, Erina couldn't help but grab the hem of her clothes and clench her pink fists tightly. She can't lower her voice and ask Qilin to join the team, can she? The students of Xinglang Academy can be replaced. If Qilin insists on not painting Rina, Joan of Arc has the right to recruit other people with culinary skills to join Qilin's team. The fear of being eliminated filled his heart, and he couldn't help but start to daydream, afraid that Qilin would take advantage of the situation and make any excessive demands. It wasn't until one hand swayed in front of her that she pulled her mind back. Qilin Chao reached out his hand and said, "What are you still waiting for? Only a few of us haven't formed a complete team. Hurry up and come in." Guess what Eleanor is afraid of, and some of his worldviews will be revealed later. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 14. Trick, Punish, Welcome to the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Friend slot, a setting with a strong gaming flavor. Joan of Arc extended 3 fingers and said seriously, with your current qualifications, you can only get 3 friend slots at most. If you want to expand, you need to constantly improve your influence and enhance the weight of the phase placement on you. Qilin originally wanted to ask more questions, but there were many professional terms inside that he couldn't easily understand. However, Joan of Arc's lazy demeanor was too strong, and she was expressing a message with every gesture. It's no use asking these questions now, try to improve yourself, young man. Okay, that's enough for 3 friends. Qilin looked at the time and said, is it convenient now? I plan to take Erina and the others to this world immediately. Joan of Arc was digging in the Yuanyue basket and said slowly, it's only 2 o'clock this afternoon. Why are you in a hurry? Let's wait until I finish eating the Yangmei. The basket given by Qi Lin was not small. When Joan of Arc took it, she weighed it and found that it weighed at least 6 pounds and could last for a long time. When she was speaking, she had already prepared Qi Lin's angry and helpless expression in advance, and couldn't help but smirk from the bottom of her heart. However, when she glanced at Qi Lin's profile, the expression she had imagined did not appear. Wait, what's the situation? Why isn't he in a hurry? Joan of Arc had a strong premonition that she was definitely caught in some trap. Not knowing oneself is the scariest thing, and I don't know when someone will sell me. This Yangmei looks fine, and the taste is also normal. Joan of Arc pulled it a few times, suddenly feeling frightened. You probably added computer accessories inside, right? Qi Lin smiled at the corners of his mouth, enjoying Joan of Arc's flustered expression. Don't make a fuss, that thing is not sold on the market. Besides, as a law-abiding citizen, how could I possibly do things related to the 8 major crimes? Silence is Cambridge tonight. Realizing that one has been tricked by someone, but not knowing the ultimate content of the prank, is undoubtedly scratching one's heart and liver. Joan of Arc let out a long sigh. Long pain is better than short pain. She picked up the basket and planned to pour out the waxberries. After moving around like this, she suddenly felt that the texture was not quite right. As the Yangmei basket was lifted, the Yangmei inside rolled down to a lower corner, revealing the obscured screen below. Opening the curtain, I saw several bricks hidden under the Yangmei basket. No wonder the basket is so heavy, but Qi Lin is not in a hurry at all. This kid had already figured out a plan before he came. You. Joan of Arc pulled out a brick and pretended to strike. Qi Lin pushed forward instead of retreating and extended his face, saying, "What's wrong with me? You've tricked me so many times. It's not too much for me to prank you once, is it? Besides, the layer of Yangmei on top weighs at least 2 pounds, and both of them are money." Joan of Arc recalled her actions today, and the phrase, countless and difficult to write, is not an exaggeration. She spat out her tongue and foolishly passed the level. All right, don't be so excited. If you want to wear a crown, bear its weight first. Look at how powerful your team is, how can others win without any restrictions? 15 minutes later, a special light gate flickering with twisted light and strange ripples reappeared. Qi Lin walked out first, looked around, and it was indeed near his own home. Erina and Saber followed closely, both with an indescribable excitement in their eyes. Their clothing has changed for both of them, with Erina wearing a light yellow fluffy skirt and Saber wearing a regular white shirt and a deep blue knee-over-waist skirt. The waist of the skirt features a drawstring design, showcasing Saber's figure very well. In addition, under the skirt, there were slender jade legs wrapped like black swans. TSK, there are only 2 words in my mind. Black silk and ivory chopsticks. Beautiful and delicious, to be appreciated, to appreciate. I'll go home first and change into clothes. I'll take you to a place later. Qi Lin greeted him, hoping to show a bit of the host spirit, but he had no choice but to change his clothes back to his morning home shorts and couldn't even see anyone. At this moment, Joan of Arc, who finally emerged from the portal, let out an incredible low growl. She looked at the illegal parking ticket sandwiched between the windshield wipers and felt sorry for the small money she was about to lose. Qi Lin touched his nose and vaguely remembered that in the morning, Joan of Arc hurriedly took him to the Comprehensive Animation Academy, completely ignoring the randomly parked vehicles. The place where he lives can be considered a township in a second-tier city, with a blend of residential and residential areas, showcasing the slow progress of a small town. A floor-to-ceiling house like Qi Lin's usually has no parking space, and surrounding residents tend to park their cars on the avenue next to the building, which is covered by trees and doesn't look very conspicuous. Under normal circumstances, it is unlikely for anyone to park illegally in this old residential area, but Joan of Arc parked her car at the entrance of Qi Lin, occupying most of the pedestrian walkway, facing the road on the side. It took a long time to stop, and no wonder she was happy to bring up a ticket. Fines are also a part of life. Welcome to this world, Chi Lin said with a smile. Who knows the family members? They were bullied by the anime characters all day long, and now they give the other party a little third dimension shock, which is really a relief. Joan of Arc pinched the ticket and turned to Chi Lin, saying, for the sake of fairness, you cannot enjoy your right of residence until the restriction is lifted, so as not to bypass the restriction through this card bug. She is very knowledgeable about smile transfer. When she has emotions, she applies them to others, so that their smiles will be transferred to her own face. Chi Lin let out a soft snort. He had already anticipated the tricks of Zhenwude, but that's all. Bringing a beautiful girl home for cohabitation is certainly a beautiful thing, but relationships that are too easy to obtain are always not firm. Only by experiencing challenges together and cultivating a sense of trust can friendship be elevated, and we can discuss the theoretical and practical steps of magic repair. Don't worry, I'm just going home to change clothes. Chi Lin poked Joan of Arc's forehead. I'll break the restrictions you've set one by one. Joan of Arc had a suspicious expression on her face. She heard that there were many tricks in the city, so she might be deceived later. As Chi Lin pulled out the key to open the door, Joan of Arc exclaimed anxiously, my eyes are like rulers. I can count how many bottles of ice cola you've stuffed into your refrigerator. If you take the items you originally purchased, you'll have to buy a new one to make up for it. Lu, isn't this the business model of a small hotel? Chi Lin still remembers being thirsty and drinking hotel drinks before, feeling that the prices were a bit expensive. The next day, he went to the small shop outside to buy a bottle and put it back. Do I also need to pay for the clothes and backpack I bought before? Chi Lin turned back to confirm with Joan of Arc, so that he wouldn't have to spend too much on his living expenses when he came out wearing a pair of good shoes later. Joan of Arc pondered for a few seconds and shook her head, saying, it's okay if the unit price is less than 200 yuan, it's only for your own clothes. If you give your ex-girlfriend's clothes to be worn by the Erina and her friends, you'll have to pay a fee. Such a malicious mind, in an ordinary word, almost gives people the label of a scumbag. Chi Lini was completely speechless and said, I don't have an ex-girlfriend, so I wouldn't be so scumbag as to give girls clothes worn by others. No matter how expensive the Parisian family is, I can't just make do with buying second-hand ones. As the words fell, Chi Lin walked in and closed the door, saving Joan of Arc from saying any more vulgar words. A senior told me that when some girls are interested in you, they will deliberately use joking methods to inquire about your emotional history. Joan of Arc likes to joke about Chi Lin so much, isn't it a bit of a joke? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 17. Swimsuits, blessings, this can be compared to Jesus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the changing room, Erina took off her clothes and changed into the sports suit she had just selected. The elasticity of the sports vest is very good. Even if she has a hot figure that surpasses her peers, she can still change into a tight vest that adheres to the skin, without the feeling of being strangled. Choose a loose coat and short sleeves to block the stunning curves of the rough waves. Saber on the other side obviously didn't have this kind of trouble. Her body stopped growing after pulling out the sword from the stone at the age of 15. The small macaron may not be as good as Chen Qishuan, who is a male. When the girl was changing clothes, Chen Qishuan hugged Chi Lin and quietly walked to the corner. Brother, what's the situation lately? Are you short of money? Chen Qishuan said with great concern. If you encounter any difficulties in life, just tell me directly. You still have the ability to help you with tens of thousands of yuan every month. Chi Lin patted the chubby little hand hanging around his neck and said, You're very kind. I didn't have any trouble, and I'm not as miserable as you thought. Thank you very much today, trust me unconditionally, and even buy me clothes. Although Joan of Arc did not mention it, Qilin vaguely had a feeling that if he relied on asking his family and friends for things to get through the difficulties, it could have a negative impact. Things like giving gifts that have a bit of edge rules, it's best to minimize them, so as not to turn into arguments. Chen Qixuan hugged Qilin tighter and said with a smile, "Did you run out of money after getting to know a girl? You even sent me a link to the fight this afternoon. What's there to cut? If you really want it, I'll buy it for you." "Ah, it's great to have a wealthy second-generation friend." Qilin picked out a swimsuit from the shelf that matched his own size, and then picked the largest size and handed it to Chen Qixuan. "Just assume that I have participated in some kind of live-action game. I need to complete tasks under limited conditions in order to have a chance to advance." As a deviation, Qilin and Chen Qixuan have different perspectives. At the moment of the integration of the comprehensive world and the secular world, Chen Qixuan and others will take it for granted that anime characters are real, only due to traffic or other reasons. They are mainly film and television works, and rarely appear in the secular world. To put it simply, seeing a character in a manga is like a foreigner suddenly appearing in a small county town, rare but not surprising. Among human beings, only Qilin remembers the original world, and the anime characters are just paper people, which are created. I don't know what the current situation is with Xinglang, hegemonic society, and UFO society. Have they all become distributors of TV series featuring anime characters? These empty-headed and brainless things, Qilin has no intention of managing them for the time being. He looked at the women's swimsuit, which was an important step in his deployment plan. Chen Qixuan pulled on the largest size swimsuit and gestured on himself, feeling slightly petite. He looked at Qilin and said, "Brother Lin, then Joan of Arc and the others are all following you now because of this live-action game. When will it be released? I want to watch it." "Don't talk about him, if he achieves success, Qilin also wants to see his performance all the way. Without even a camera, there's nothing to show." Xian, that's not the point. Thanks to your favor today, I won't go for nothing. I brought Joan of Arc and her to your store, so please manage it well. Maybe you can have a sky-breaking wealth. Chen Qixuan studied business economics since childhood. When Joan of Arc and the others came over, he saw the traffic password. Just being a good person and doing things, we need to follow the rules. People are brought together, and using other people's friends as gimmicks to earn traffic and profits is not authentic. Chen Qixuan does not consider himself a noble person. He now has an old man as his capital, so he has the confidence to refuse the temptation that comes before his eyes. Qilin took the initiative to mention it, and there was already some business negotiation. Sending fitness cards and buying clothes, this small investment can earn a lot of traffic, which is a profitable business. Either the front desk girl is just the front desk girl, or Chen Qixuan is really just a hasty bag of rice. How could the gym be so popular? His father only provided the start.up funds for opening the store back then, and the site selection and operation were all handled by Chen Qixuan alone. During their conversation, Saber took the lead in trying on his clothes and walked out. Qilin Chao pouted at the swimsuit area, gesturing for her to pick one. Saber picked one randomly and couldn't help but speak, "I want to ask, what are we going to do now?" These seem to have nothing to do with the grade assessment. Joan of Arc had almost finished trying on her clothes, and she poked her head out of the fitting room to hear the conversation between Qilin and others clearly. In the complex world, Joan of Arc and Qilin have the same positioning. Her thinking has gone beyond the shackles of anime, and she knows many secret truths. Saber didn't understand Qilin's intention, but in Joan of Arc's view, it was a clever move. The first thing to do in the face of academic-level assessment is to make up for the shortcomings and achieve a balanced development in cooking, sports, and talent, so as not to be easily targeted by other teams. Build a solid foundation and then arrange tactics based on one's own characteristics in order to steadily improve the chances of winning. Qi Lin's answer was exactly the same as Joan of Arc's thought. Erina's physical strength is too poor, and we need to improve our physical condition first. Your athletic ability is very good, and there is still room for improvement in your power generation skills. The gym is different from the exercise methods of your era. You can give it a try and perhaps have a brand new experience. It makes sense. Saber admits that he has not yet achieved perfection in martial arts. Returning to the gym, except for the boss Qin Qishuan, everyone else changed into swimsuits. There is a heated swimming pool inside the gym, which is not small in size. In addition, there are not many people during working hours, so the pool can be considered as surrounded by Qi Lin. Can you swim? Qi Lin looked at the three female companions. I do know how to swim, but I can't help teach you how to swim. Please forgive me. Joan of Arc immediately realized the meaning as he shook his head. Qi Lin had never expected Joan of Arc at all. He looked at Saber and didn't expect Saber to shake his head too. Didn't you receive the blessing of the fairy in the lake? You can't even swim. Qi Lin was secretly surprised. Saber lifted his foot and stepped on the surface of the water, step by step, lotus flowers blooming in ripples. She walked in the center of the swimming pool and said helplessly, "The ability bestowed upon me by the fairy in the lake is to walk on the surface of the water. I can't fall into the water, so naturally I haven't learned to swim." Qin Qishuan next to him was stunned. He was extremely grateful that he had turned on his camera and planned to take some video footage, which happened to record the scene of Saber walking on the water. Legend has it that Jesus was able to turn water into wine. In the movie The Da Vinci Code, the female protagonist is a descendant of Jesus and once reached into a pond to see if water could be turned into wine, but ultimately failed. Indeed, water is ultimately water. But when it comes to jade feet, Saber is much better than Jesus. The next chapter will reveal a core worldview. I sent a picture. Can you see the full-screen Fate Qingming outing in Happy Reading? Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 18. Mandarin Ducks Playing in the Water, Soul Evolution, and Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The comprehensive manga school setting limits the abilities of students and maintains them within the normal range of individuals. According to common sense, when Saber enters this world, he should have lost the characteristics of his heroic constitution, unable to summon treasures, unable to mobilize magic, and even his job skills will be affected. But now she is standing on the surface of the water, so unbelievable. Physics no longer exists. Qi Lin's first reaction was to look at Joan of Arc, with no surprise on his face, only a slight frown. Sure enough, Joan of Arc anticipated this scene. Can you say it's a friend slot? The friend slot allowed Saber to unlock a little bit of restrictions and demonstrate special abilities that are only available in anime. Saber didn't stand on the water for too long and walked back the same way. If it's been maintained for a long time, this state can be quite tiring. Saber sat by the pool and extended his foot. If swimming is something that must be learned, I can try to learn it now. Her feet naturally immersed themselves in the water, telling Qi Lin through her actions that although the blessings of the fairy in the lake were passive, they could be stopped by her thoughts. If Saber continues to stand on the water after being blessed, it may even be a problem to take a shower. Qi Lin touched his nose and casually replied, "It's okay, having this ability is enough. If you want to relax in the pool, you can come and play. At other times, go to the equipment area to practice and see if you feel anything." Watching Saber leave, Qi Lin turned around to find Joan of Arc. Surprisingly, she sneaked into the water and had already swam to the deep waters. Qi Lin quickly jumped into the water to chase after him, and soon collided with Joan of Arc. The two of them creaked and seemed to be saying something, splashing with water. They could only see the graceful spring flowers, without hearing their hearts chattering. In Qin Qishuan's camera, Lin and Joan of Arc are like two swimming fish, wandering and searching between the shimmering waves, with fluorescent lamps shining on their bodies as water droplets interact and shine. The people swimming in the water are mandarin ducks. Don't talk about emotions, just sigh. The beauty in the lens is because the camera can only capture the surface. Above the surface of the water, time is quiet, but below the surface, hidden currents surge. Lin wiped the water off his face and said, "What exactly is a friend slot, and what kind of impact will crossing the phase bring?" There is another question that I have wanted to ask for a long time. With the character of Rina, since she didn't like me at first, she couldn't have wronged herself. Why was she so afraid when she failed to win the team? What was she afraid of? At first, a two-person team was formed with Saber, and Lin was not afraid of not finding a third person. He aimed at Rina and intended to kill the young lady's sharpness, deliberately delaying for a while. Unexpectedly, Rina's face became increasingly abnormal, and a sense of fear seemed to be erased from his eyes. At that time, Lin didn't think too much and directly invited Erina to join the team. As for regulating one's mental state, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. He had intended to keep these words hidden in his stomach for now, and after further developing the protagonist template and gaining an understanding of the Comprehensive Animation Academy, he would gradually delve deeper into the anomalies hidden in the details. But now it's different. Saber's changes have exceeded Lin's expectations, and he can't continue to be passive like this. If the development of things goes beyond cognition, the direction of development will become a runaway dragon. Joan of Arc wandered around Lin, very close but seemingly far away. The distance that can be easily touched with just reaching out is always unreachable. In a daze, Lin saw the reflection in the water shake for a moment, connecting him with Joan of Arc. The reflection on the water surface was rippled, and Joan of Arc's reflection became a bit clearer. You actually guessed that it is not so easy to integrate the anime into the third dimension. There is also a gap between the soul and the soul. Joan of Arc played with the water and scattered her reflection. The thinking logic of the anime characters is completely determined by the third dimension creators, and even the third dimension second creators can change it to create a different life in the same place. Entering the comprehensive man school means evolving into the second and fifth dimension people, which is the initial awakening of self-consciousness. Lin recalled his interactions with his classmates. Some were inexplicably hostile to him, while others appreciated him. Knight Wang was willing to stay under his command, but God's tongue was defeated and returned. Indeed, many characters have engaged in behaviors that are slightly different from the original setting. Is there any difference between SSR and SR besides their abilities? Lin keenly discovered new blind spots. Joan of Arc paused for a moment, and she appreciated Lin more and more. Yes, SSR will be more awakened than SR, so Eleni can realize that once she leaves the school, she will become the original anime character, and she doesn't want to lose the opportunity to own herself. Lin looked at his reflection in the water and pondered, so, my friend's slot is based on me, with a 2.5-dimensional person embedded in me, gradually growing and evolving until I can adapt to the 3-dimensional environment. Joan of Arc did not answer, and she suddenly turned around, leaving Lin with a thin and white figure behind. Do you regret giving me such a precious opportunity now? Lin picked up a handful of water splashes that Joan of Arc had swam by, pounced on his face, and then waved his arm to chase after the distant figure. As I said, 3 is just enough. Bringing one more of you is not a burden. Chen Qishuan on the shore only heard the last sentence and couldn't help but cover his face, feeling restless inside. I'm truly Brother Lin. I can't help but feel tired even when I pick 3. I'm really in good health. He only dared to think about this in his heart and dared not speak it out. Joan of Arc crawled out of the pool and took out a towel to wipe her wet hair. Before she could dry her body, she walked towards the changing room. You can focus on your own training. There won't be much going on, so I won't keep an eye on you. If there's anything, I'll say it on my phone. Qi Lin responded and turned his gaze to Rina. Just now, he was eager to ask Joan of Arc a clear question and left the young lady on the shore. Fortunately, she wasn't angry. Do you want to try going into the water? Qi Lin stood in the shallow water area and reached out his hand to Elena. Swimming is not difficult, it may not be easy to get used to at first, just get used to it. Without hesitation, Erina grabbed Qi Lin's hand and cautiously extended his foot underwater. She is a competitive person, how could she be seen as a crane tail or a soft persimmon in the eyes of others? It's just a superficial swimming, and if she wants to overcome her athletic shortcomings in one fell swoop, she will definitely make it back to the top in the school-level assessment. Chen Qishuan scratched his stomach, feeling that squatting on the shore as a light bulb was not suitable. When Qi Lin Sai gave him his swim trunks, he actually hinted that he would come play in the water together. We are all brothers and friends, so don't be too open-minded. The chubby little man didn't treat himself as an outsider, but he knows more about propriety. A friend's wife should not be deceived, not just because they have a covetous relationship with someone else's wife. Even if there is no evil intention, accidentally touching a special part will make both parties feel embarrassed and prickly in their hearts. Everything else is easy to say, let's go swimming. It's still too easy to touch, so the little chubby guy chooses to become a beautiful person. Here are some flowers, some price reviews, and some motivation for coding. Thank you Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 20. New projects, bike classes, wild motorcycles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Once the business starts, it can't stop. The name of God's tongue is too well known. Even without developing products, just hanging a name is enough to ignite a craze in the catering online marketing circle. What kind of gimmick is celebrity endorsement? When it comes to drawing Rina's name, it's at least a foodie-level presence. Chen Qishuan stopped editing and asked with great anticipation, so, Brother Lin, are you planning to start working? We're all eating in your employee lounge, what else can we do? Qi Lin glanced at Saber and said, do you want to try cooking? Saber lifted his head from the lunch box and said, think. Based on her appetite, if she doesn't have daily income, 2,000 yuan is definitely not enough for living expenses. Qi Lin looked at Rina again and said, Miss, the fitness meal doesn't quite suit your taste, does it? Diet is not just about eating. Are you interested in blending a better fitness meal? Erina had already had enough of the terrible taste of boiled vegetables, and she tasted quinoa rice, beef, and hamburgers one by one, her brows furrowing all the time. It's just about calculating the calories, carbon, water, protein, and vitamins of food, simple nutrition. When it comes to her professional field, Erina has once again transformed back into the proud ice witch. Qi Lin made a request. You can specify a precise operation step for the cooking method of the ingredients, including the weight of the seasoning and the cooking time. Try not to make it too complicated. We need a streamlined operation, and if we open a store in the future, we will definitely need to recruit employees. Erina pondered for a moment, abandoning the flashy gimmicks in her mind and planning to start developing sauces to create the ultimate seasoning that can conquer the taste buds of fitness enthusiasts. After a brief discussion, the fitness meal plan is tentatively set to start with private cooking. According to regulations, Qi Lin and others must use the kitchen inside the dormitory to cook. The economic thinking of street vendors is to complete the pre-work of preparing and cooking at home, and after being sent to the booth, simple tasks such as assembly and heating are needed to sell. There are many members in the gym, so you can start by having a free trial inside the gym to observe public acceptance, and also do a taste survey. After attracting a certain number of visitors, they can further convert into customers and book the next day's fitness meal. While developing order customers, it is also necessary to maintain the customer base and attract new customers. Qi Lin said that he can take on this type of work related to community operation. Leave Saber to handle the preparation of dishes, practice the basics of knife skills, and follow Erina to watch her cook. I can definitely learn something. As the investor of the entire project, Chen Qishuan will rent a nearby store and take care of decoration, recruitment, and other related matters. He also took care of procedures such as business licenses and food hygiene and safety certificates. We are a new team, and the initial base salary is set at 6,000 yuan per month. The income earned from filming videos will also be shared. After the light food store opens, the salary will be increased. The specific details are all written in the contract. Let's see if there are any issues. Chen Qishuan pushed the contract and offered a salary that was slightly higher than the market price. Qi Lin picked up his pen and signed his name, patted his chest and said, "If you're being pretentious, I won't say it. I promise you won't lose money. It's time to call you the boss in the future, Xian." The chubby little man waved his hand repeatedly and said, "Brother Lin, we still have our own opinions. I'll call you brother." A new project was discussed, and about 40 minutes had passed, barely finishing the digestion phase of dinner. Qi Lin glanced at the schedule above the employee lounge, quickly took a sip of water, and then signaled everyone to hurry out. "I'll be going to take a cycling class in a little while, Saber and Elena, you all go and experience it." Saber just signed her name, with a hesitant expression in her eyes. She didn't understand why cycling was done indoors. Qi Lin was too lazy to explain and kept shouting to them until they arrived at the dynamic bike room. "Xian, stop cutting the video and go together." Chen Qishuan never expected that he would also be brought along. He frowned and squinted his small eyes, saying, "Brother Lin, do you want me to ride a bicycle with my body size? I can't do it with my knees." Qi Lin grabbed his thick and lotus-like arms, his hands even stronger than iron pliers, and said, "You're at least the manager of this grand gym. If you want to grow bigger and stronger, you'll have to show up sooner or later." Chen Qishuan's weight of over 200 pounds was unexpectedly pulled by Qi Lin, causing him to panic. With Qi Lin's demonstrated strength, he could really be dragged to the dynamic cycling room. He propped up the table with one hand, while Qi Lin was anxious with the other, and immediately found an excuse. "The film is not finished yet. You guys go exercise first, I will definitely come next time." "Maybe next time," Chen Qishuan stuck out his tongue in his heart. Qi Linan couldn't tell that the chubby guy was slacking off and gritted his teeth, saying, "You don't even have a gym owner who works out. Who would believe that your store is a serious exercise shop?" This sentence indeed pierced Chen Qishuan's main artery, just like a restaurant owner who never eats their own food, a gym owner who never uses their own equipment, who would believe the promotional slogans you send when promoting members. Chen Qishuan gritted his teeth, competing for traffic once. "Okay, wait for me to upload the just edited video to the Music Note platform, and then buy a traffic package. Is that enough?" He beckoned the receptionist to leave a few spots in the dynamic bike room, and immediately turned on the computer to upload the stunning footage of Saber walking on the water. In the dynamic bike room, there are 7 bicycles placed on the front platform, with the teacher in the center responsible for leading the movements on it. The other 6 are excellent members, and those who are proficient in cycling are not satisfied with following the movements below. Before the cycling class starts, they will go to the front desk to collect seats and ride bicycles with the instructor. The more popular the teaching instructor is, the more people will accompany them, and the position on stage is first come, first served. Usually, those who can go on stage are fitness enthusiasts, but little dogs dare not ride bicycles in public. The first row below the stage is mostly reserved for old members, and today, for the first time, 2 seats have been vacant. I heard the boss is coming to ride a bike, and everyone else is waiting to see a good show. The second row corresponding to the vacant space also has 2 bicycles available, which are reserved for Saber and Erina. After helping Saber and Erina adjust the height of the bike and the tightness of the pedal shoelaces, Qilin reached out and placed his hand on the knob in the middle of the bike, adjusting the resistance to the minimum. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to move at first, just follow the ride, grasp the rhythm, and then slowly catch up later. Qilin gave an instruction and sat in the position directly in front of Erina. Chen Qishuan arrived late and sat next to Qilin. Accompanied by the warm-up, the teacher played the music for this lesson. I would like to invite you to ride on my wild motorcycle. The next chapter is Saber's highlight moment again. Damn it, I clearly prefer the Quilt King, and Eleanor hasn't even received the highlight yet. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 23. Refrigerator, living in the same room, smelling the fragrance. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Cool Summer Forward is a very famous reality show during Qilin's student years. Although the festival's target list focuses on live-action sports and national fitness, various abstract and vivid scenes often appear in reality, leading to the development of humorous programs. After inspecting various cities, the program team will build a water park and set up a men's and women's doubles track at a suitable venue, so that every contestant can have a good competition experience. Due to the age limit of the program, which targets adults under the age of 45, there is no refusal from outsiders, resulting in varying levels of competition among the contestants. Some people wear Superman COS suits and race all the way, easily reaching the finish line, bringing a refrigerator home just like those who come to stock up. There are also people who, during the last talent show, actually started participating. Before the host had a chance to recite a few more words about the characters' lives, they had already fallen into the water. Moreover, they did not even voluntarily participate in the competition. On TV, you can see that I don't know how to swim, but my girlfriend wants a refrigerator, so she has to put on a life jacket to embarrass the simple guy who competes. I can still see a struggling college student who was stabbed in the back by a college roommate and received a text message from the program team, only to find out that someone had signed up for me. When Qilin was in college, he wanted to sign up for this program for Chen Qishuan. Now that the boomerang from his student days has flown back, he naturally wants to give the chubby guy a ride. Not only Chen Qishuan, but also Qilin himself, as well as Erina and Saber, he has signed up. The qualification for the competition will be reviewed within 7 days, and in most cases, it will be approved. The videos filmed by Qilin and Chen Qishuan have become popular on social media, and the production team naturally welcomes them more. They can mediate slightly in terms of scheduling the competition. After informing Saber about the registration for the program and the rewards for the event, Saber and Erina both came to their senses. They caught up with Qilin's intelligence for the first time and figured out what he wanted to do. It's okay if you don't have appliances like rice cookers. If you don't even have a refrigerator in the kitchen, it's really cramped. Moreover, it is early July and there are still several months left before the temperature drops. Cooking restrictions mainly affect the refrigerator. That is to say, participating in the competition to obtain the refrigerator does not violate the restriction rules. If we are lucky, how many more appliances can we get? Saber's strength has come into play and he is now eager to give it a try. Erina gently caressed her chest, calming her emotions. She didn't expect that the limitations of her culinary skills could be solved in this way, and the thinking of people in this world is indeed lively. Chen Qishuan generally understands that he needs to follow the past to shoot videos, and after arriving at the scene, he cannot help but make a declaration to promote his own gym. At the thought of working overtime to edit videos and exercising hard every day, little Fatty's face wrinkled like a bitter gourd. He used to only hold live broadcasts of participating in dynamic bicycles as a group, and he couldn't be as busy as he is today. Qilin kneaded the little chubby man's shoulder. Of course, he knew about his hard work. It was like this in the early stages of entrepreneurship, and everything had to be done by himself. Only through hard work can one proudly say, the light boat has crossed countless mountains. According to Chilin's plan, they are expected to participate in the challenge program on July 8, and must be fully prepared for the 6 days in between. If you don't take off the refrigerator, it will have a significant impact on morale. Xian, is it convenient for us to stay in the employee lounge for a night's sleep? Qilin asked. Chen Qishuan lifted his head and blurted out, why are you sleeping here? Can't I just open a hotel for you? Hey, wait, you can sleep here. Chen Qishuan knew that Qilin lived nearby. For a second, he wondered why Qilin didn't go home to sleep, and then instantly caught Qilin's mention of us. Sleeping in the employee lounge, at least sharing a room with a girl. If you go to open a hotel, you may not be willing to share a king-sized room. As brothers, the assists can only be delivered here. Aren't we going back to the dormitory? Erina curled up, feeling that cohabitation was still too exciting for her. Qilin only gave one reason for this. There is air conditioning here. Sports restrictions and the summer disaster are not something that ordinary people can endure. It is truly commendable to find a place with air conditioning to sleep before the air conditioning is delivered. The most crucial thing is that Qilin and others have already signed a labor contract with Chen Qishuan, so they stayed overnight in the employee lounge, which does not violate the school rules. The strategies arranged by Qilin are really just right. It is not only the foreshadowing for subsequent actions, but also solves the current difficulties. Joan of Arc's 3 SSR specialty limitations have all been solved unconsciously. The clock turned to 10 o'clock at night, and the gym was empty. It was time for the mall to close. Chen Qishuan and Qilin explained their trivial matters and headed to the employee passage with a computer bag on their shoulder. Tomorrow, in addition to ordering ingredients, he also needs to quickly recruit people. The camera and post-production editing require someone to be in charge, so that he can allocate his energy to running a light food restaurant. Qilin spread a blanket on the ground and gave up his only marching bed and sofa to his teammates. Considering that the gym does not have iron gates, the safety factor is relatively low. If a pervert breaks into the mall at night and sneaks into the gym, it will definitely be frustrating. Never overestimate human nature, especially when Saber videos go viral and gym addresses are exposed on online platforms. Qilin simply slept to the door and pressed his body against the door panel. If a pervert sneaks into the door, at least he must pass through first. The lights went out, and only the cold air from the air conditioner made a faint sound, making it suitable for sleeping. Saber was the first to fall asleep. After awakening in this world and regaining her sense of magic, she urgently needed sufficient sleep to stabilize her own state. The dragon-like long breathing is the lullaby of the night. Qilin slept very lightly and slept in a daze for several hours, seemingly hearing rustling sounds. He turned over and wanted to switch to a more comfortable sleeping position, but female voices rang out beside him. Ah! Startled, but suppressed his voice. Hualina fell on Qilin's body, and the fragrant breeze brushed against his face, calming his waking breath. Fortunately, she is a girl with a relatively light weight, and even if she falls down, she won't be able to smash Qilin. If it were for Chen Qishuan's fall, his anger would go without saying, and he would have to hang the chubby little guy up and beat him up before he could give up. However, before getting angry, it is estimated that he needs to go to the hospital first. If his tonnage falls, the person may be gone. As the ancient saying goes, beauty brings disaster like the silk of Xinglang. Her graceful figure is like a gentle hometown, making it difficult for people to calm their hearts and minds, and even a slight mistake can lead them to fall into it. Suddenly, someone fell onto him, causing a burst of chest tightness and gasping for breath. After waiting in place for a few seconds, he finally recovered and savored the hazy moment of particle collision. It is indescribably soft, like a steamed big white mantou, with a sweet and refreshing fruit embedded on the top. Little grapes. No, it's Xinglang from Wujun. The aftertaste came to an end, and Qilin reached out to pat Lina. "Are you okay?" "It's okay." Erina answered very anxiously. She moved a few times randomly, propped her hands on the ground, and barely sat up. "Did I crush you?" Qilin is the backbone of the team, and Erina is really afraid that something will happen to Qilin, which will affect the team's strategic assessment. What can happen to a person who weighs less than 100 pounds under their weight? Qilin lay down, and the old god said on the ground, "It's very fragrant." In the next chapter, we will revisit this nocturnal interlude from the perspective of Serena. In my outline, the highlight scenes in the early stage are basically for Saber, and the portrayal of Rina is based on the emotional line. From the initial disdain for each other, to living together, and then to having fun with enemies, it finally came to fruition. I hope the audience can remain patient and witness this delicate emotional scene together. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 21. Rhythm, Growth, and the Madness of the Wind King Barrier. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A slightly addictive rhythm, paired with very provocative lyrics. Once the song, Wild Motorcycle, is released, it is like a magical sound entering the ear, deeply ingrained in the mind, and the brainwashing effect is quite significant. Elena stepped on her pedals in confusion, her body involuntarily rhythmically following the rhythm. For first-time cyclists, there is no need to consider movements. Adapting to music rhythm and adjusting breathing rate are the key. Many people who ride dynamic bicycles quickly feel bored, often because they cannot keep up with the rhythm and cannot integrate into the overall rhythm. When everyone is stepping on the pedals alternately to the rhythm, only you can completely reverse it, and the psychological embarrassment is more agonizing than physical exhaustion. At this point, Erina would like to thank her for several hours of swimming training, which allowed her body, which had not worked for a long time, to temporarily move. The nearly 1 hour of rest has also released the accumulated lactic acid in the body, and the current state is good. The orderly breathing sound is almost imperceptible in the tightly beat music. But if you pay close attention, you can still hear the coquettish moans and gasps of Erina, Saber's long, dragon-like breathing, and Chen Qishuan's lazy dog breathing, which is already tired and tongue-sticking. Qilin looked around at the environment of the dynamic bike room, where the hazy ambient lights on the top, combined with the strong rhythm of the beats, created an entertainment atmosphere comparable to a disco. A camera was set up in advance in the indoor corner, and a sliding rail was installed on the wall facing the bicycle position below the stage, capturing in detail the heat wave movement inside the bicycle room. In the Pacific Rim, 2 drivers are required to have an extremely high synchronization rate when starting the car. Online, it is often jokingly referred to as driver training or a 100% synchronization rate when 2 people perform a certain action together. Now, from the perspective of the camera, everyone's movements in the bike room are neat and uniform, dancing in the rhythm of the music, demonstrating a high synchronization rate of unity. Rhythm, resonance, evolution. The 15-minute class ended, leaving only 30 seconds for everyone to drink water and wipe their sweat, followed by the next brainwashing song. Erina's legs have long been numb, and high-intensity aerobic exercise has trained every muscle in the body, while also testing the lungs. She had thought of giving up countless times, so she stopped to take a sip of water and quietly left like everyone else. Do you just give up like this? Are you willing to drag others down for a lifetime? I was lazy today. Will you regret being lazy next time someone challenges me? The proud self in her heart kept questioning and forcing her to work hard. The breathing in the lungs is like pulling on a tattered blower, each time it is difficult and arduous. The more so, the more adjustments need to be made to find the most suitable rhythm. The body was exhausted as if all the joint parts were stained with rust, creaking and almost falling apart at any moment. It requires a furnace of perseverance to polish and forge a strong physique. Whenever Erina's consciousness became hazy and her mind swelled, her gaze couldn't help but turn to Qilin. Not a strong figure, it reveals her unremarkable persistence and effort, meticulously completing every movement, sweat wetting the entire back, revealing clearly defined muscles. She gritted her teeth and persevered. Cooking used to be everything in her life, but now in society, it tells her that if she only excels in cooking and doesn't know how to be a good person, then she will also be a waste. Saber is right next to her, and she can feel the rich energy unleashed by the opponent's muscles during exercise. Other students may not be so exaggerated, but those who excel in sports definitely have athlete-level physical fitness. After the announcement of the grading assessment rules, regular challenges are basically non-existent, and everyone will choose to cross-disciplinary challenges to attack the weaknesses of other teams. Erina is well aware of how weak her physical strength is, and she must exercise well within 2 months. To graduate smoothly, the SSR team needs to earn 3 points, which is a perfect record. Once you lose a game, you must consider a more challenging challenge. Erina doesn't think she has the qualifications to play sports or have talent. Unlike the lively Serena, Saber's idea is very simple. The chivalry is an unwavering spirit of struggle, simple yet pure. Saber is not a perfect person, she also has many flaws, but she will not worry about it. Worries will not solve any problems, they will only become obstacles that hinder one's efforts. She chose Qilin and naturally accepted a series of seemingly unrelated arrangements, because a team shares weal and woe, and what is most needed is trust. At this moment, she is fully immersed in the dynamic bicycle. Her body is becoming more and more free, her spirit is becoming more and more radiant, and her entire spirit and spirit are blooming like 3 flowers, merging her mind and body into one. The invisible wind drifted out from Saber, surging and arrogant, like a king's aura. Air conditioning is installed on both sides of the dynamic bike room, and there are also large fans facing the bike next to the platform. The cold air from the air conditioning vents, as well as the airflow driven by the fan, all converge toward Saber at this moment. She seems to be in the midst of Phoenix eyes, and the strong wind listens to her commands. Job skills. Riding. Saber has skilled riding skills and can easily handle various mounts. Unlike Elena's sensitivity to rules, Saber's heroic physique has a unique advantage in magic. The Night King who lived in the anime seemed to step out of the mountain and fall into the world at this moment. The enchanting song still lingers on, but the teacher in charge of Saber's lesson feels inexplicable pressure, and the familiar movements become difficult. He couldn't help but lower his head and sprinted vigorously on the pedal. Everyone in the bike room accidentally stopped their complex movements and fully immersed themselves in cycling. Move forward, move forward. At the moment when the music suddenly came to an end, the chest heaved violently, shaking with a high heart rate, and the sweat blooming all over the body was so exhilarating. A gust of wind happened to scatter from Saber and blow through everyone. The cool breeze is in good season, and the spirit is in full bloom. The teacher in charge of the class couldn't help but let out a long whistle, and several fitness enthusiasts also shouted, "Hey," loudly, expressing the joy after the exercise. Alright, today was a really enjoyable class. Finally, let's play a gentle piece of music and let's relax and stretch. The music started, and Qilin silently turned around to see Saber's golden hair covered in fragrant sweat, yet it showed the excitement of just returning from the battlefield. With the help of the gentle breeze, Erina, who was standing next to her, persevered and rode the entire journey, breaking through the limits of her physical strength. Outside the gym, Joan of Arc stood on the rooftop of the mall, gazing at the sparse and scattered stars in the darkness, her eyes blurred. On this first day, I was able to develop my companion to this level, and he is indeed the most special one. Saber's highlight moment, do the audience gentlemen like it? Xinglang outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 25. Sick, should be faster than death, more suitable for inflammation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Returning to the dormitory, the selected furniture and appliances have already been arranged. Although it is not a small and comfortable home, it is always better than living alone. Returning from this world, still walking is Joan of Arc's car door. Several boxes of goods were transported back and forth, all carried by a man named Qilin. Here, it's for you. Qilin handed Joan of Arc a big bag of sweets. Now that he has a part-time job and doesn't have to worry about living expenses, he naturally has the capital to spend money recklessly. He no longer has to be short of weight to buy some Yangmei as usual. Calling Joan of Arc to open the door early in the morning can be considered troublesome for someone else. As a gesture of offering some sweets, there will inevitably be a stage of reciprocity in the future. Joan of Arc weighed the paper bag and joked, "There aren't any bricks inside this time, are there?" "Don't worry, it's enough to weigh 2 pounds. Qilin pointed to the open portal, "If you like it, I'll buy it for you next time." With such a sincere tone, Joan of Arc feels embarrassed this time. "There's one thing I've never known how to tell you. If you really don't want to say it, you won't start with this." The tone sounds quite guilty. "How about warming up the bed at night to make up for it?" Qilin smiled and showed tolerance and magnanimity, "But it doesn't matter. I dug out the lighter of your gas stove." Joan of Arc put down her dessert and quickly took a few steps back, showing a well-behaved and pitiful expression, as if the prank was not her. Qilin took a deep breath and held back a sentence. "No, you're sick, aren't you?" Joan of Arc glanced aside, afraid to meet Qilin. She clenched her fists and pretended to be a cat, saying, "Meow, what are you talking about? Joan of Arc, meow won't do anything bad. Strictly speaking, the lighter is also considered to be electric, so I had to endure the pain and remove meow. Selling cuteness is shameful. Being cute and passing the level is useless." Qilin rubbed his swollen temples. "Forget it, that's it. It's not a big problem. Anything that can be lit with a match is harmless." Upon hearing this, Joan of Arc immediately rushed back and happily hugged the dessert paper bag. "I knew you wouldn't get angry. All right, activate your worldly intelligence and you can easily solve it." Joan of Arc gave a rainbow fart, and the flattery hit the horse's lap. Qilin waved his hand and gestured for the other person to crawl away quickly, so as not to affect his mood anymore. Joan of Arc twisted her hand and bit into a small biscuit, asking, "Will you still buy me sweets next time?" "Buy it, don't be a layman." "I'll definitely buy it for you." Qilin was like sending off the spirit of decay, pushing and rushing to send Joan of Arc away. He sighed and suddenly had a sudden impulse, opening his phone to check his favorability. Saber's favorability is 30%, and the Fed King really enjoys the days when food comes to his mouth. Joan of Arc's favorability is just a string, unable to see specific values. "Ah, cunning woman, when the great assessment is over, you must uncover your mysterious veil." Dong dong dong. The dense cutting sound, like beating drums and gongs, sounded the charge horn for cooking. Cooking is actually similar to fighting, especially when it comes to mass production. Once the kitchen doesn't cooperate well, it will immediately become chaotic. Erina is currently fully committed to adjusting the sauce for fitness meals, doing chores such as punching, washing vegetables on the water table, and chopping, which will definitely be handed over to Qilin and Saber. Especially the latter, now is the time for her to learn. Chinese kitchen knives are not like long swords, which can be controlled directly by force. Cutting vegetables is different from killing enemies, as it requires both efficiency and patience. "Saber, you're too impatient." Qilin rolled up his sleeves, took the kitchen knife, and bent his fingers to cut the potatoes on the table. In the exquisite and orderly rhythm, potatoes are sliced thinly and then stacked together, finely cut into shreds. You need to remember that swordsmanship is just like swordsmanship, with a set of postures. Guard your hands and look at the edges of the knife. Don't be too tight on your upper body, lean forward slightly, and keep your abdomen and peer at a fist's distance. Saber listened to the teaching and silently put on a good posture beside him. Qi Lin pushed away the shredded potatoes, picked up a new piece of ingredients, and continued his teaching. Long sword, you pursue lethality, and are accustomed to opening and closing. You are actually not bad at stability, accuracy, and ruthlessness, but when it comes to cutting vegetables, you need to learn to be flexible. Not only do you need to be flexible in your hands, but also in your mind. The speed of cutting vegetables gradually began to accelerate, and Qi Lin's movements remained orderly, with almost every blade cutting the same thickness. A steady hand is the key to accurate cutting. A skilled teacher with skilled knife skills can strike deadly rhythms on a cutting board. The speed visible to the naked eye of a pot of potatoes disappeared, and Qi Lin never let Saber get started again, mechanically repeating the movements. He needs to engrave standardized postures into Saber's mind so that when he lands his hand, he can be firm but not stiff, soft but not weak. No matter what ingredients he faces, the knife in his hand should be calm, firm but not dead. Hu. Qi Lin took a deep breath, put down the kitchen knife, and gave the position to Saber. The next step is to cut cabbage, and the hands need to be fast and stable enough to cut beautiful strands. Saber raised his knife again, placing one hand on the cabbage, recalling every action guided by Qi Lin. His energy was highly focused. The equipment training in the gym gave Saber some inspiration. Slash is not an addition, the stronger the better. Hold back your strength, control your muscles, and make every move just right, so that you can achieve a seamless outcome. Right now. Saber's kitchen knife flickered with white light, and the sharp blade roared past. When there was silence and the knife wind subsided, the cabbage suddenly cracked and bloomed like a flower, breaking into a pile of fine threads. Qi Lin observed Saber's movements, and the physical strength of the hero was so strong that he could actually recreate the exaggerated effects that only appear in anime in the real world. If he can continue to develop the template for Wei Gong Shi Lang, perhaps he can also gain the power of a hero. After being busy for most of the day, Rina first developed two types of sauces. An oil and vinegar sauce that is quite suitable for salads and cold dishes, as well as a sour and spicy sauce that can turn mixed grain rice into an unparalleled delicacy. In island cuisine, sour and spicy dishes with sweet and sour taste are not common. The cuisine of the island is adjusted after studying modern recipes and actually tasting local cuisine. She guarantees that every fitness meal she hands out will fit the taste of brother Yan Huang very well. Undoubtedly, the fitness meal received rave reviews on the first day of free distribution, and the number of orders instantly soared to 3 digits. Many people who came by high-speed train to check in on that day strongly demanded that Paranai sell sauce packs. If cold chain supply could be developed, it would be even better. Chiyu Gym may become a popular check.in spot in the city. Paranai's homemade fitness meal, like a delightful tea, is touted as an excellent specialty for urban tourism. Short video accounts have become increasingly popular, with a plethora of merchants and influencers flocking in. Everything is developing in a positive direction. The preliminary preparation is almost over, and after participating in the program, the grade assessment section officially begins. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 24. Shame, procrastination, and favorability. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The curtains in the employee lounge are very thin, and most of the moonlight outside the window is blocked, leaving only a few faint rays of light shining into reality. It is necessary to rely on low-light vision indoors to see things. Qi Lin's eyes had almost adapted to the darkness, and in the haze, he could see a plump silhouette next to him. More precisely, it is someone sitting cross-legged on their own calf. White as condensed fat, even better than the top-notch thigh of sheep fat jade, it should be praised as an irreplaceable item. When I was reading, I learned an ancient essay called Love Lotus Says. At that time, I always kept muttering, you can only observe from afar and not play with it. Words like these are just catchy and reasonable when first read, but the meaning of the words is unknown. At this moment, Qilin felt the tight fitting of her skin, as well as the rapidly rising temperature conveyed by her shyness. Just like the warm winter sun, so comfortable that I want to get closer, shrink into a little, and then blend together. Well, it's important to observe from a distance and not play with it. I see, once you come into contact, you'll get caught up in it and try to get rid of someone. Erina's body was very hot, her heartbeat was particularly fast, and her mind was even more confused, forgetting that she was still sitting on someone else. Her mood has an indescribable sense of uncertainty, especially after encountering a huge gap during the day. She lacks a sense of security. She put away her arrogance and became gentle, even a bit too gentle, appearing humble, or rather humble. A brief sleep may have allowed her to relax briefly, until her metabolism awakened her and she wanted to take a nap. She forgot that Qilin was sleeping at the door, and also forgot that she had experienced heavy exercise, with lingering soreness in her calves. So by chance, when Erina got out of bed, he accidentally made a sound, and Qilin happened to flip over and land his hand on the spot where Erina's toes fell. At the moment of falling, Erina remembered Qilin. She stopped the scream that almost made her throat scream and slowly lay on Qilin's body. "Are you okay?" Qilin's voice was a bit lazy after waking up, and his condition seemed quite good. The sound echoed right above her head, making her suddenly realize that she was lying in the arms of the opposite sex. She fumbled frantically, as if her hand had touched many places before finally touching the ground covered with a blanket, and hastily sat up. In the backlight of the direction where Erina was located, she couldn't see clearly the expression on her face in the darkness. Her inner anxiety and shame intertwined, and she was completely ignorant of the discomfort beneath her. "Did I crush you?" After being trained, Erina's eyes were clear, showing concern for the opposite sex for the first time. "It's very fragrant." Qilin's answer was rambling, and at first, Erina didn't understand the meaning. It took several seconds for him to realize that the two words he answered were not related to his own body fragrance. She couldn't help but hammer her chest and said coquettishly, "Nonsense. There's plenty of room to talk nonsense, so naturally there's nothing to worry about. When painting Naden, I relax and feel a bit uncomfortable underneath. How long will you sit on me again?" Even though he couldn't see Qilin's face clearly, he could still guess the expression of a bad smile on his face. "What does it mean to sit on the body?" Erina's scallion fingers touched and touched, as if they had touched the gun of Nibelungen, making her feel hot. She quickly got up from Qilin and instantly realized how shameful her straddling posture was. She had just rubbed lightly due to discomfort. Qilin half propped up his body, his gaze scanning his slightly trembling delicate body. "He actually doesn't mind teasing for a while, but it's not the time yet. Tomorrow's workload is heavy, we need to rest as soon as possible. Joyful things can only be done in leisure time. You haven't said what you're doing up in the middle of the night yet." Seeing Erina standing silently, they all greeted each other. I need to go to the bathroom." Erina clamped her legs tightly, and the more she resisted, the easier it was for her to recall the feeling of contact when rubbing. This action seemed like urgent urination to Qilin. He quickly made way to the side and opened the door a crack. Erina glanced outside the door and couldn't see the darkness of her fingers. She couldn't see anything. "Don't turn on the lights." Qilin picked up his phone and showed a faint light. He didn't even turn on his flashlight and said, "In principle, no one is allowed to stay overnight in the mall. If you turn on the lights and lure the security guard over, it will be a bit troublesome." Upon hearing this, Erina had no choice but to give up, light up her phone screen, and move slowly towards the outside. After hesitating for half a minute, she finally stopped. A timid voice came through the door panel, "Can you accompany me? Going to the bathroom together is so romantic." Qilin couldn't help but tease for a moment. No, what I mean is, can you accompany me to the restroom door, said Erina urgently. Qilin put on his clothes and took the lead in lighting up the way ahead. The faint screen light could only illuminate the road within a 2-meter range in front of him. Erina grabbed Qilin's sleeve and slowly moved to the toilet. Walking alone into the toilet, the narrow compartment vaguely brought a sense of suffocation. Erina is a person who is quite afraid of the dark, and she can only occasionally call out for a sense of security. Fortunately, Qilin did not tease her and would respond immediately whenever she heard a call. If Qilin deliberately didn't speak and suddenly screamed inwardly, Erina would probably be scared out of holy water on the spot. Going to the bathroom at night is a small episode, and the sun continues to rise the next day. The time has come to July 2nd. After waking up in the morning, taking advantage of an empty stomach, Qilin and his 2 teammates applied for a health certificate together. When he returned to the mall, Chen Qishuan was snorting to the truck driver to unload the goods. He saw Qilin and immediately pushed the cart over. Lin Gu, the ingredients are here, make sure to manage them enough. On the first day, the main focus is on developing flavors and combinations. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, as the gym will have more customers in the afternoon and evening. Just bring a batch of fitness meals before your meal. Qilin took a look at the ingredients and found at the main course, vegetarian dishes, meat and seafood, and seasonings were all available. Next, it's up to you. Do you have confidence? God's tongue. You have relaxed your mind. In the field of taste, I have never lost, said Erina, holding his head high and chest up like an old general on the battlefield. After experiencing last night's incident, the relationship between Erina and Qilin seemed to have become a bit closer. There was no original disgust in her eyes, nor was there any compromise after surrendering. Nowadays, there is more relaxation and anticipation for future life. Qilin's pocket shook and he pulled out a phone that appeared in the world of anime. Task. A gentleman's good match. Task description. Erina's impression of you has changed. Please take advantage of the heat and increase your favorability to 30%. Task reward. 1 talent point. New task, nice. With the emergence of new tasks, mobile phones have loaded a liking module. Initially, Erina's favorability towards Qilin was 0%, but later it decreased to 0.2% due to a dispute over culinary concepts. Until Qilin invited her to join the team, saving her fate of being eliminated and returning to her original value. And yesterday afternoon's series of contacts allowed Erina to see the other side of Qilin. A man who is far-sighted, big and strong is always favored by others. The current favorability rating of Erina is set at 10%. The task itself has no time limit, which is in line with Qilin's intention. Hurriedly trying to please the girl looks like a licking dog. Seizing every opportunity in life and fully expressing oneself is the way for contemporary youth to make friends. What a fierce matchup. What, do you think I'm talking about Qilin and Elena? Actually, I am with the reviewing Big Brother. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.